Mm-hmm. Quick sound test, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Tej. Good morning, Raul. Thank you very much. Hopefully, I don't get that disconnect that happens. Seems to happen every so often. I don't know whether it's an OBS thing or what, but hopefully that doesn't happen. We'll get started at the bottom of the hour here at 8:30. But good morning to you all that are joining up. Hope everybody has had a good week so far. Hey, Daniel. Guys ready for some Goose games today? Couple little topics I want to talk about, which I will after I do my disclaimer and all that. But I want to touch base on a couple quick things just to remind you guys what to be looking for with earnings. But I also want to talk about another topic that kind of struck home a little bit when I had a call with a trader a couple days ago. So looking forward to that. Making you guys dizzy, swaying back and forth. Can't sit still. Sorry. Dizzy. Thanks, Ricky. Always appreciate you. Show some love, guys. Retweet that thing. Get some more people watching. I'm jumping into some Goose games, but I'm going to talk about a couple things first. And obviously, I will talk about the markets as well. All right, guys, let me get going here. Good morning. It's Jason here. I'm one of the pro traders over at TrueTrader.net. I'm a former market maker, been around the business for you guys that don't know me since the early 90s, 93, I think it was when I started up in the business. You know, everybody knows me as a Goose in the chat room, guys. This is the Midweek Watch. I'm doing this every Thursday at 8:30. Make sure you guys tell your friends about it. Do me a favor and make sure you guys are liking our, the content that we're putting out. I know Ricky and I are doing we're putting a lot into trying to give back to you guys. And I know Ricky's doing an incredible job on Sundays at 5 o'clock. He's going live and he covers, a lot of his things are about an hour long, and he just covers everything, psychological to trading, and really going through things in detail. Obviously, I'm in a little bit more shorter time frame, so I'm doing my little gig here, but Ricky's doing an incredible job, and the amount of time and effort he's putting into it, it's hours of time. So make sure you guys are, when you see these things, like Ricky just said in the room, make sure you guys are retweeting them. Tell friends about them. I mean, this is free content for folks to learn about. So make sure you guys are doing that. Make sure you tune in. Great job as always, Ricky. You're always kicking butt and taking names. So make sure you guys are also leaving comments. I know for myself, and I know Ricky as well, we like to see comments. We like to see, what you guys are, liking, disliking, maybe some things that we could start including. So feel free to leave comments, good, bad, or indifferent. I don't mind them. So, I got thick skin. It's okay if there's something that you'd like to see different or you don't like. But so far the feedback's been pretty great, and I appreciate that very much. So with that all being said, let me jump over into the disclaimer. Here we go. So I want to talk about a couple things here. TrueTrader nor its representatives are not registered as a security broker dealer or an investment advisor with the SEC or any state regulatory authorities. We are not licensed nor qualified to provide investment advice. Guys, I'm not a licensed broker anymore. I am not here to give you investment advice. This is 100%, repeat, 100% for entertainment purposes only. Okay? So, it's funny when they were doing the tweet out, they talked about some financials, and I was really going to go off in a different direction and talk about something. But I will just mention something to you guys that are playing earnings and financials, and just remember what you guys are looking for when you're looking at financials. A lot of people do get confused. Initially, they'll be looking at the the top and bottom line and get pretty excited about things. It's all about guidance, guys. Everybody wants to see guidance on these things, so make sure you guys are looking at guidance. For not only just the quarter, sometimes they'll give their annual guidance. And you'll see a mixed reaction. That's why sometimes you'll see these stocks that'll miss on earnings, and then they'll announce a raise in their dividend and better guidance for the next quarter, and you see the stock go up, and you're confused why you're getting eaten up on trying to short the pop, and then you just didn't dive into the numbers deep enough. So make sure you guys are doing some of the basic things when it comes to financials. I really wasn't going to get into a whole financial conversation, but I just wanted to remind you guys when it comes to that. There are some names that are reporting, especially in technology. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys were kind of making sure you're looking at the numbers properly. I'm not going to go through specific balance sheet with you guys and all that kind of stuff today. Maybe that's just for another day. But Ricky's, I think, done some pretty in-depth stuff with the with filings and stuff. So I'll maybe leave that up to Ricky to do when he has a little bit more time on Sunday. Putting you on the spot, Ricky. How's that? Pretty funny. Just kidding. So anyway, next thing I want to talk about that's really important is I had a conversation the other day, before I get into the Goose games and the market commentary. I had a conversation the other day, and it kind of hit me, and I said, I definitely want to talk about this on Thursday. It's a topic that I've talked about a couple times before, and I just want to make sure you guys got to do you. I think Ricky's even talked about this not too long ago, but it is so imperative that you guys are doing you. And here's what the conversation went like, and I'll be a little bit vague. Obviously, I don't want to disclose who the person was, but this is a successful businessman. He's trading, and he opened up the conversation, and he started talking about his financial situation. And the first thing he said was how incredible he was doing with his swings. His account had grown. I want to say it was like 300%, if I remember correctly. And he was just kicking ass and taking names. And he started intraday trading and wanted to intraday trade and the challenge of intraday trading. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's just getting crushed, giving back gains. And it's something that, at the end of the conversation, it was a real simple question. I said, why the hell are you intraday trading? And it almost was like about the rush of intraday trading. And, it's pretty incredible, actually, that how often this is done. And I'm not telling you to go be a swing trader and don't look at intraday trades or vice versa. But the big thing is a lot of times we don't do what is important to us, doing us. We could be reading, social media, and you see small caps are hot, so all of a sudden you want to become a small cap trader. Or the market's getting extended, and you think everybody's shorting the market and anticipating a drop, so you start shorting names when that's not your play. You're a long player. That's 90%, predominantly you play on the long side, but yet you want to become a short trader, and you don't understand exhaustion candles and all these type of things. But yet you're going to dive into it, and all of a sudden you're scratching your head later because you keep getting eaten up on short, trying to short. It happens all the time in this market, and especially with this volatility, what's happening is the cycle is going so fast from, favoring longs to favoring shorts to, small caps all of a sudden will pop. There'll be a low float madness going on for a little bit, and you feel like you're missing everything. So you all of a sudden want to become that trader, and then you look at your P&L, that week or a couple weeks later, and you're scratching your head. I'm sure this is going on for quite a few people, and you guys have had this experience, especially if you're struggling, right? So I just want to make sure that you guys are doing you. Don't worry about what's going on around you. Don't worry about the traders. You can see guys just kicking ass, every day, trading a certain, specific style, but it might not work for you. It might be too fast. Make sure you guys are truly analyzing yourself. At the end of the day, it's your business. It's 100% your business. And I can't stress that enough. It's probably the most common conversation I have with people is they're all over the place. And they're not just really focused on one strategy that works for them. I promise you guys, I know that there's a part of you that has to find your strategy, and I get that. but you are going to find your strategy. And unfortunately, when we find our strategy, we're not honest with ourselves at what's actually working and what's not working. And I just want to stress with you, after that phone call I had the other day, and it was so obvious, like immediately talking to him about what the hell are you doing when you're intraday trading? And it was a challenge. He had his background, he was hyper analytical. He loved the idea of, the candles and everything. It was pretty interesting hearing, his take on why he wanted to master this intraday trading. But every time he was losing money intraday trading pretty much. And he was killing it on swings. He was smart. He was, able to analyze the financials and other stuff. And he was doing great on swings. But what happens is exactly what I was telling you guys, is the market got challenging for swings, right? It's been a little bit harder on swings and the market's coming down hundreds of points every day. So he has to figure out what to do. Well, I could intraday trade to generate some income today. It's just you guys have to find what works for you, find that focus, and just press on it. Press on that gas pedal. And eventually, over time, I promise you guys, I've been doing this almost 30 years now, and you'll find other strategies that work, and you'll start adding to these things. It'll come in time, but stop rushing the process. It's all about the process, guys, okay? So with that all being said, I just want to talk about that briefly. It was an interesting call I had. Make sure just to remind yourselves, if you guys take away from this morning, just remind yourselves, am I doing what I should be that works for me? Look in the mirror. Listen, this trade, I look at it, it works 50% of the time, but yet these other ones work 70 or 80% of the time. Why am I trading these? Is it the thrill? Well, be honest with yourself, because it's a very addictive job that we have. I don't know if you guys have found that or not, but it's an incredibly addictive job we have. You want to be there. You don't want to miss anything. You want to sit at your desk. You want to make sure you don't miss that high flyer. There's so many different, things that we could compare this to as far as the addiction of this trading. So anyway, just moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the markets now. Hopefully that was a little bit helpful. And what I want to talk about with the markets is, this is kind of last week. We talked on Thursday that it was time to start swinging. The main thing I want to talk to you mention, by the way, if you guys did start swings, and this is an interest, market doesn't go straight up. Okay, I know that it has in the past. We've had these crazy runs where in a week we're back on highs or so forth, but there are some pretty nice scoops down there. If you did start swings, last week or something like that, the market's had a pretty good 1 week run, right? You can see that from the channel. This is the SPY, some huge green days, in the market, as well as the Nasdaq. Remember, part of trading is taking profits and knowing when to take profits. Okay, you could always, take part of your profits. This isn't financial advice or anything like that. It's just the theory of the market. Is when you get these huge strengths, you sell into maximum, optimism, right? That's one of Peter Lynch's, things, right? So when in talking about this, if you were buying during that pessimism and all that, and it's all of a sudden see the market flying and everybody's now flipping around a little bit, and I'm not saying everybody is. I'm just saying that you had this crazy push in the market. Make sure you guys are locking some in, taking some profits. Reward yourself. You don't have to take out the whole position if you love it and think it's going higher, but make sure you pay yourself. So if the market does do a little retrace, you saw with Facebook earnings and things like that, the market maybe comes in a little bit. It gives you another opportunity to buy it cheaper. So just make sure you guys are locking things in as you go along. Be smart about your trades. I hear people overstay stocks way too much. It's kind of crazy. And you buy a stock to make money, they'll be up 10, 15, 20%. And they're hoping for the home run, the 40% move or the 50% move or whatever. And I don't think we lock in trades enough on that. So, talking with the market, what I think is going to happen here, I told you guys, I think we're going to have a quick move back up onto highs. I think it's going to have in between there. I think we're going to start having the channel. It closed. This is a SPY. Closed above the 200-day. Closed above the 126-day. I have a feeling it's going to come back. Maybe it tests the 200-day again before going higher. And what I want to see in the market, I thought Ricky talked about this actually on Sunday, is seeing higher lows, in the market. But what's going to happen for that? The market's going to pull back a little bit for it to see higher lows. So just have an idea of overall, I still feel very good about the market and the bounce. I'm not one of these that think that this is just the beginning of the end type thing. I think that this is going to be short-lived, and I think we'll be back up on highs. We'll see. One of us is going to be right, but we'll see how it goes. I don't have anything, as far as QQQ. Let me just look at that real quick. There's nothing new on QQQ. It closed yesterday above the 200-day, which was pretty sweet. It's going to come in again this morning. We'll see what that ends up doing. But again, this is another one. It's behaving okay. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it holds certain levels. and move on. So I don't have much more to say about the market. I don't want to add, the guessing games. Yesterday I talked about the market last week on Thursday about, yes, I felt it was time to start swings, and looking at for some upside. It kind of happened. I think that everybody should make sure they're taking advantage of the big move that just happened, and just remember, stocks don't just go straight up. Okay. So that's it. Any questions about the markets or anything like that before I move on? I really don't usually open up for questions here, but I just want to make sure. I'll wait 10 seconds, make sure there's nobody with any quick questions, and I'm going to get into the Goose games for you guys. And drink some water. Am I going too fast this morning, guys? And good morning to you guys. For you guys that are just joining, good morning, good morning. All right, so no questions. I'm going to move on. We're going to start into the Goose games here. Just remember, everything is always if then that type of thing. I mean, we're always about this, guys. I mean, every one of the pros that come on, whether it's in True Trader, or it's always the same thing. Just because we put levels out there, guys, just make sure you guys understand that these are levels. If then this. Sometimes I did these levels at 7 o'clock this morning or whatever. Some of them might have even come close to these levels, and I'll just readjust them. Some of them, if they blow through them, they blow through them. But they're levels on the daily that I'm interested in looking at, and that's what I'm providing. Levels on the daily that I think are interesting to see if they hold or they stop if I'm looking for a short. And that, it's as simple as that. It doesn't mean that I have automatic orders out at each level and I just got burned because, something went $3 underneath my order. That's not how it works, okay? So I like to look at the action off these levels just to make sure I clear that up. So the first name we're going to talk about this morning is going to be AMD. I'm looking at a long on AMD. So let's talk about AMD, guys. They had really good numbers. Sorry, guys, on the speed. I know I do speak fast. It's the New England side of me, I think. Sorry about that, Sam, but thanks. Too much swinging. Chinese tuna. All right. What do you guys think about AMD? Give me some levels, guys. Let's get going here on the Goose games here. I know we're already at quarter till. I got, I think, 10 names to go through this morning, so let's rock and roll. What are you guys thinking about AMD? I have a level off AMD. Tej, you're in the ballpark. There you go, Jose. You guys are all in the ballpark, I'll tell you that now. What is it, Chinese tuna? Is that right? I don't want to be funny. Is that how you say it? Chinese tuna? With two N's? A little bit more, that's a little bit aggressive for me, Joe, on that. Okay, so let's pull it up. AMD, what I'm looking at. AMD, you got I put down 114.80, so you guys are all talking about the same level here. I'm looking at this level. You got an annual pivot from last year, but you also have a prior monthly here. I'm looking for, pull back into that with this market. 114.80 is what I put. It's a previous monthly 115 level. You guys are all in the same ballpark. It's just kind of where I put my mouse over the time when I did it, but that's the level I like. It's also the prior resistance here is what I written down from this level here before it kind of pushed up with the earnings. So that 115 level is the level I like. Daniel, right on the nose, 114.80. That's exactly what I have written down. Good job. Good job, guys. This one's a little bit close. Came out with earnings, I think it was yesterday. But I really like it off the level. It's a symbol of CHRW. I'm looking for a long on CHRW. I think this name is overdone. I'm tempted to throw a swing on this one, but I'm not going to yet. I like to see these things base for a few days at least. But CHRW, looking for a long. Oh, Chinese stunner. Gotcha. That's hilarious. I'm such a loser. Sorry, bud. Chinese stunner. I'm just going to call you Stunner. What do you guys think of CHRW for a long, guys? CHRW. Jose. My man. Healing up, and now you're throwing out some good ones. Thanks, Stunner. Anybody else on CHRW? CHRW. Charlie, Henry, Romeo, Whiskey. So I don't think that's, it's a little bit curly, too conservative on that. Let me pull up CHRW. I think this has a chance of holding this level that it's going to open up at, which is not right off that 92.50 if you saw the action yesterday. But the level that I have is 90.05, 90 spot 05. It's the whole number. There's a monthly pivot, and you can see this prior consolidation in here, right? Or excuse me, right over here, sorry. Prior consolidation, if I can pull this back. So that's the level I'm looking at. It's a monthly pivot right here at the $90 level, so that's exactly what I'm looking at. Prior consolidation before the big move up. I think this name's oversold, so I have a little bit of a bias on it, CHRW. And my level is 90 spot 05. So good job off the 90 levels, guys. Good job. Next one is going to be Capri, CPRI. CPRI, Charlie, Paul, Roger, India. I'm looking for a possible long off this name. I think Ricky nailed this one yesterday or the day before. Or was it yesterday he nailed it, I think. You could remind the room, Ricky, if you're in the room listening. I thought he nailed the top on this thing. I'm looking for a possible long off this, guys. CPRI, anybody? Let's see some more involvement, guys, for you guys that are watching. CPRI, don't be shy. I don't bite. $62.18, 62. You guys making me feel aggressive here. Let me pull it up for a second. Make sure it's not already at my level when you guys are pulling this up. CPRI. Nope, it's not. I actually pulled. Okay, so what I did on this is I'm looking at the prior low. I could see what you guys are looking at here with the 50-day and stuff and the previous highs. So I like your levels that you guys are talking about, but I'm looking at 63.40 or previous monthly and a previous low right there. Okay, previous monthly and a previous low right here. I have it written down right here at this 63.40. I think this name could be strong. Again, it's all about opportunity with the market. If it fails this level, just so you know, the next level I'm going to look for is right here, right off the 60.5, 61 area. Okay, you can see there's a 50-day and a quarterly pivot. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Right off that 50-day and that quarterly pivot, probably I might even do if I don't do anything at the level I wanted, I'll probably do a starter at 50-day and then add off that quarterly pivot off that 60, 70 area. But I think this name could have a nice bounce in it today if it comes in with the market. Excuse me. Learning to talk. 63.40, though, is the number that I have written down. Okay, 63.40 right in here. All right, next name, EW. I'm looking for a possible short in EW. Edwards Life Sciences. Good job, guys. I like how you guys were all in that same ballpark off that 50-day area, though, and that higher from the other day. That's a good job. Market's coming in a little bit, so hopefully we get some opportunities here. Anybody with EW? Any thoughts? Looking for a possible short? I think this one was a little bit... It's hard when I don't have the chart up to look at it because I went through so many names this morning, but I think this one is a little bit away. We'll see. Ooh. Now we're talking curly. Anybody else on EW? 1650, 117. You guys are all in my ballpark, by the way. I know you guys see what I'm looking at here. So I went to the highest marker there. I think there was a 50-day up there, right? Yeah, I actually put mine at the 50-day, but I could see the 126-day as well as that monthly from a couple months ago. In that 116 level, I actually have there as a short at 117.90. Okay, 117.90 is the level that I have written down on this, and that's right off the 50-day. You guys are a little bit... I see that quarterly pivot up there. I think it's going to hit its head right up in here. This prior resistance. I think that's where it's going to hit its head as it moves into. You could kind of see this this level right here. I think all this right here is when it's moving into, and right here, I think it's going to be where it hits its head. So those little areas that I'm kind of circling with my mouse. So I'm not sure it will make it up. If it gets up to 122, it should be a really good short, Tej. But I think it's going to hit its head up in where Joe's talking about in that 117.40, 117.90 area. So we'll see that. I have 117.90 for a possible fade on EW. Next one, Ricky's favorite company, because he loves their coffee so much, is Starbucks. I'm going to look for a possible long on Starbucks, and there's a reason why. I traded this yesterday from the short side, and let me just say, there were some buyers around in the name. I was a little bit surprised. I'm thinking if the market comes in a little bit today, maybe it could test a certain level. So I'm going to look to see if it tests that level. and gives a nice little bounce off of it. I know Ricky's like he just disconnected. That's crazy. So I'm looking for a possible long, guys. Starbucks, give me some numbers there. It's really obvious Starbucks what I'm going to look for to see if it holds, by the way. Can't be more obvious. Yeah, you guys are all in the ballpark. There you go. Let me just pull it up because this is an easy one. 94, Leha, right on the money. That's exactly what I have. I have 94.70 written down right on that quarterly pivot. Previous day's low. It's been holding this level here. I know it's a little bit close. It's got a 3 ATR. But listen, I mean, I could say whatever I want about what I thought about their numbers and so forth. I'm trading the tape. And yesterday, there were buyers around. So with this opportunity, those buyers might come back, especially off this quarterly pivot and the support level. So I know that their coffee is not very fond to Ricky, but watch the long there for a possible bounce. 94.70 is what I have written down. Next one that we have, guys, how we doing on time? We're doing all right on time. Next one we have is TXN. I'm looking for a possible long on TXN. If you guys have any questions, by the way, you could always ask, and I'll move. I'll answer the questions as I'm going when it comes to the certain name I'm looking at. Good job on that, Craig. Right on the money there, 94.71, right on that quarterly pivot, right? All right, TXN for a long, guys. TXN. I didn't look at the short on it. I'll watch it tomorrow if it gets up in that 100 area, Jose. But it might be a really nice short. I traded this yesterday. Had a good trade on it. Curly, let's stick with TXN. You're right on the money there, Curly, on TXN, or real close. TXN's a short. Oh, there you go. We'll talk about it when I pull up the chart, okay, Boyd? I'll tell you a level that I like from the short side. TXN, though, 181.50 is what I have written down. TXN, let's talk about it real quick. So TXN, 181.50. All right off these prior lows, right off where the breakout kind of happened with the big move from yesterday. Here's a little thing I just want to mention to you guys. The stock did close to highs. I always tell you, watch the retrace on these things. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if some of you guys were looking at this annual pivot right here. I know, call me crazy. Now, if it pushes up into this level here, up into the 191 area, it probably could be a nice little short there, Boyd. Is that what you're looking for on for a possible short into this quarterly and monthly? Because this prior level, that could be a nice little short up in this 191 area, if that's the area you were looking at. That's to Boyd, who's looking at it for a possible short. But watch 191. I didn't have this one written down, but that could be a nice one. Grandizer, I'll have to look at names afterwards, make sure I get enough time to finish these up. But Boyd, if you want to respond, that's great. Okay, perfect. I know there's a delay in the voice, so what Boyd is talking about, just to make sure I repeat, I'm looking right here for my long, by the way, 181.50 previous low. You got a 20-day prior monthly pivot and also the ATR on this thing. Okay. That's what I was looking at on 181.50, maybe 180 area. But push into this level right here. It's crossing the 200, it's crossing the 126. You're going to meet some resistance up there. You got a monthly and a quarterly, and this prior resistance here could be a nice short as well. There you go. That's TXN. Boyd loves the short. All right, TMUS. Let's go on. T-Mobile for you guys that know the name. I'm looking for a possible short on T-Mobile. TMUS. Anybody else looking for a short on TMUS? Possible short. Ooh. Tej. Oh, let's see if it's close, Ricky. So, Tej, you nailed it. That's exactly what I have written down on that. 124.30. So, you nailed it on the nose. You get the booby prize. TMUS, 124.30. Right off of this annual pivot here, it's at 118. It's twice the ATR from the pre-market. I like that 124.30 area. You also see it's a prior resistance level. It's already pushed into a prior resistance level. But watch 124.30. It's annual pivot, a prior monthly pivot, and prior resist. That's what I've written down. It's prior monthly. It's going across. I use the higher number on this, which is a point higher, 124.30. But I do like that level. Good job on that, guys. Good job, Leha. Good job, Jose. So good job to you guys on Teamus. Now we all got to know where Ricky's order is so we can get in front of him by a penny. All right, next one I'm looking for is CHKP. Checkpoint. CHKP, I'm looking for a possible long on. That's on checkpoint. CHKP. I think that, Sam, that 117 is way too close on. It's actually in the pre-market. It's already up in 118 on that one. Is that where you were, Ricky, at that level at annual? Good stuff. Checkpoint, guys. Possible long on checkpoint. A little conservative on that one, Boyd, but okay. 24. Let me pull up checkpoint as you guys are typing it up. Checkpoint. So checkpoint. I like the numbers, by the way, on CHKP. So what I did is I'm hoping on checkpoint. It comes in with the market. I have one. Me see tree. You got it on the nose. 121.50 is exactly what I have written down. 121.50, just above these highs, just off this prior low. You got a prior monthly just below it. But I think what I'm hoping on this, and I know that turns the stock red, but the numbers to me were good. I liked it, and I'm looking for the previous low and that prior monthly pivot right in there. It's exactly what I've written down. You win the prize. 121.60, good job, Joe. I have 121.50 on the long there on checkpoint. All right, next one. We got two more guys. Cuervo, QRVO. QRVO, Cuervo. I have a long on Cuervo at two levels, actually. I think one of them is a little bit more conservative, but I want to watch the action off an initial level. So whichever ones, I'll respond to both of them there. But I have two levels of interest on QRVO for a possible long. And I think QRVO is, I think with the numbers, I think it's oversold a little bit. We'll see what happens with that. Anybody on QRVO? It's always weird to silence because I know it takes about 10 seconds for you guys to get the symbol and all that. Let's see some responses here. All right, Boyd is definitely in the short game there. There you go. All right, Curly. This is a tough one, guys. Cuervo. Let me show you. Let me just talk about Cuervo for a sec. Now, guys, again, I have a bias on Cuervo. I think it's oversold. My first level is actually at 131.80. All right off this annual. I know it's close to it. It's only a few points away. I have a feeling it's going to blow right by there. And my next level is going to be right off 130, okay? Right off 130, these lows from these couple candles. I think it might find a bid. I did this on Cirrus the other day, and I nailed it. Had a huge trade. So we'll see what happens. I'm not, if this really breaks down, and I mean, to me, I could identify, when the stock's trading heavy or not, or I feel I can at least, I should say. So this is one that I will let play out. I'll probably look for a higher low off the level, see if it wants to hold this 130 or 131.80. But those are two levels I have on that, 130 and 131.80 for possible longs. All right. This was one I almost didn't put on my list because I do think it's a little bit more speculative, but I like the area it's coming into. We'll see what happens with it. Okay, that's QRVO. And also, it trades a couple million a day, but it is a lighter volume name. All right, last one, guys. HON for a short. HON. Looking at HON for a possible short. Not impressed with the numbers, personally. I don't know what that means, Robert. Sister 19, laugh out loud. What? Yep. Thanks, Ricky. So HON, last name, guys, for a short. What do you guys think? We're at 9 o'clock, so I want to wrap this up. HON, let's see. 207.40, 20. You guys are right on the money there. Misi Tree, Leha, Tej, you guys are all on the money on Honeywell. HON I have written down 207.50. So you guys are right there on the money. 207.50. You got a 50-day there. You got the previous close. You got a previous high there. Watch any guys. It's all about being prepared. Quick pop at the open, maybe G2C. I love it. Anyway, all right, guys. That's it for you guys. Are doing a really good job. I appreciate the participation, guys. Listen, I hope you guys come over and check us out over at TrueTrader.net. I think you'll be really impressed with the team that we have over there, and Ricky's doing a Sunday prep. Make sure you guys are tuning into that. That's on Sunday at 5:00, and leave your comments. Hopefully, you guys will like what's going on. I appreciate the feedback. When you guys are seeing a short versus my long, I love that. And I'll look at it live with you guys. Okay, so just like we did on I forget which one we were talking about earlier, Texas Instruments, I think it was TXN that Boyd was looking at. Don't be shy to type those things in. We'll take a quick glance while I have the chart up. Okay, maybe I see something you don't, or vice versa, right? So keep up the good work with the interaction. All right, guys. I appreciate you all. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and look forward to seeing you all next week. And I look forward to seeing most of you guys in the True Trader chat. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day.